Welcome to Learn While You Can. And today I'm going to talk about my experience after an 8-hour, actually a little bit more than 8-hour ride on my 2021 Can-Am Spyder RT. So I'm going to be talking about things like seat comfort. I'll hit a little bit on the BRP Connect, but most people know that I'm not happy with that. Genius Maps app that is with BRP, but you can also use it on your phone. A little bit about driving in the rain, seat comfort, my experience with the cruise control setup that they have, screen visibility, both your iPhone if you have it mounted, as well as the screen that's on the system itself, and perhaps a few other things like the Ricardo Pack Talk, battery life, and those types of experiences. So it's really some segments of the ride from about 12:30 in the afternoon is when I left upstate New York and drove to Fort Wright, Kentucky, arriving about 10 o'clock at night. I had, I believe, 3 stops for gas. Of course, it's only a 7-gallon tank, so probably for the whole trip probably about 12 gallons or so. I averaged 32 miles a gallon, but I do use the pedal commander and have that set at Sport +1, so that takes a little bit of fuel economy away from me. I am thinking that when I drive back home, which will be later this week, I might go ahead and turn off the pedal commander and just go in the economy mode just to see what kind of a difference it makes for gas mileage as well as pick up the vehicle. So let's talk a little bit about some of my experiences on this ride. First of all, seat comfort. When I first got this on an earlier email, I said the seat was very comfortable, and yeah, that's true. But 8 hours in the saddle, I found that it was not as comfortable as the Ultimate seat that I had put on my BTX 1300. I'm planning to ride Route 66 in 2022. I rode it with my two-wheel bike in 2015, and I will probably upgrade the rider's seat to the Ultimate seat. Just over time, it really seems to be much better. You can see here there's a little bit of rain I hit. I actually started out in the rain, which I did not record. But when it comes to riding this bike in the rain, it's just a whole level of security. This is just a sprinkle here, but I've been into some much heavier rainfall, and it's just the stability because of 3 wheels obviously makes a big difference. So I don't have any problem driving in the rain when I have to. Not my choice, but I'll do it when I have to. Relative to the Genius Maps, I overall like Genius Maps, but on this trip, it took me on a strange detour at one point that really appeared to take me off the route and then brought me back on around the route. It didn't seem to be saving me any time or missing any construction. It just was kind of a surprise. It seemed like a throwaway turnoff. It basically took me off of Route 71 South and then put me right back on 71 South, probably a mile down the road. So that was kind of strange. Cruise control. I love the cruise control on this system. However, I do have one bit of complaint, and that is the resume function, which also is the one where you can add a mile each time you click it. It is, when you hit set and you hold set, it goes down beautifully, works extremely well. But the resume, you really have to push up and to the right, and sometimes you have to play with it. I don't know if that's a defect in mine. I'll take it to a dealer and take a look, but it just didn't seem to be as easy to hit the resume and make it work. I usually had to play with it much time. Now you can't see it so well in these images. Some of the later ones you'll see, but the screen visibility was quite good. On this one you can see the screen even though the camera's on my helmet, and of course my iPhone with the Genius Maps on is quite visible, and no matter what the lighting conditions were, it seemed to work. Here was one of my areas where I did run into a traffic jam. Again, there's a benefit to having the Can-Am Spyder with the 3 wheels. You're not riding the clutch, going in and out where you have to slow down and stop and things like that. So this little bit of construction probably delayed me maybe 15 minutes. But again, with the 3 wheel, I am finding that I'm liking the three-wheel a lot. I do miss my two-wheel, no doubt about that, but there are certain advantages to having the three-wheel. Although this is a total aside, I have to say that as I ride, I normally, motorcyclists, we wave to each other and things like that, and that's pretty common. That was even when I was a kid, that was being done. But I did have an experience the other day, not during this trip. I had an experience the other day where I was riding. I had someone that wanted to ride on it, so I took her for about a 30-minute ride, and I'm going down one highway, and a couple motorcyclists are coming towards me. And as usual, I waved to them, but as I was waving, the one person stuck out a big thumbs down. So apparently he didn't like three-wheelers or didn't like Can-Am Spyders. I'm not really sure, but that's rare that you get that kind of a response from individuals. Motorcyclists are normally a good, friendly group, but that was just a surprise. Now, one of the things that I want to show you that impressed me a lot with this bike is the visibility with the light. So you've got a couple of segments coming up here where you'll see how well the light is. So it's still fairly light outside, but you can see and these are on low beams. I also have that optional light that's at the bottom of the grill. That's an add-on light. And as you can see, with the dims on, it lights up. And again, this is when there's a fair amount of light still. The sun is going down, but it's quite a bit of light there. And that I find that makes a big difference. This is clearly better than my motorcycle when I had auxiliary lights on my two-wheel motorcycle, my VTX 1500. So watch as we get into a little bit of darker phase. And again, it's in the city driving and things like that, so there's a lot of light around me. But look how much that illuminates. Again, these are all low beams, and that really makes a big difference for night riding. So just a few closing comments. One, I use the Cardo ProPack Gold speaker system or communication system, and I'll tell you what, I am just so impressed with the battery life of that. I was on this trip, probably the total. I had some stops for gas, but I didn't delay. I got the gas and left. So what we're talking 8 to 9.5 hour riding, and near the end of the trip, I asked it for a battery status, and it was still 50% charged. That was pretty impressive to me. And the BRP Connect, that is still. I finally, just told my phone to forget the device, forget the connection with BRP, because when it was connected to it, it's kind of nice. I could see the songs, titles, and things like that on the screen, but then it would interfere with my Genius Maps that were on my phone. And when I tried to do Genius Maps on the BRP Connect, it wouldn't work. So I'm just so frustrated with BRP Connect. I think it could be a great tool. I love how it displays the maps and things like that. But as many people have said, most of us have just defaulted to having the phone plugged in. It's nice because it's always gotten a good charge. And as you can see, even in this picture, I can see everything clearly. Everything stands out very nicely. But BRP Connect, unless they do something about it, it's just going to have a terrible reputation. So that's kind of a discussion about everything going on in this long ride from upstate New York, basically the Rochester area, to Fort Wright, Kentucky. With the exception of a little bit of rain on the ride, it's a good ride. I'll be doing it again. I'll be heading my way back, and as I said, I'll probably test out the econo mode and just see what the difference in gas mileage, as well as what the difference when it comes to performance. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend and week. Enjoy the ride wherever you are. God bless.